Hello! This weekend we packed up the car, leaving New York and braving the Vermont wilderness. And by wilderness, I mean a very comfortable villa in a popular ski town. My puzzle partner and our friends ski while I snowboard. Although I look really cool, it's tough being the odd man out, and by that I mean it's tough making the entire group wait for me while I clip in after every chairlift. For that reason, along with my general interests, I'm considering taking ski lessons next season. I'll keep you guys posted on how that goes. Our villa had a few puzzles to choose from, ranging from popular snack foods to an all-white mountain trail map. We decided to meet in the middle in terms of difficulty and chose a ski resort postcard puzzle. Spoiler! This puzzle ended up being much more challenging than we anticipated. This puzzle is 1,000 pieces, and when complete will measure 24 inches in width and 30 inches in height. The concept of skiing is rather strange. Strapping two wooden-ish planks to your feet and barreling down a mountain doesn't feel intuitive. However, mankind has been doing this as far back as the Ice Age. Cave dwellings in Central Asia support this. From these ancient paintings, we know that cross-country skiing was designed as a means of transportation and to aid in hunting. The very first community believed to have skied were the Sami, the only indigenous people of Scandinavia through the Middle Ages. Some of the very first skis were discovered in northern China and date back to 8000 BC. This first rendition was made of 2-meter-long pieces of wood that were covered in horsehair. Downhill or alpine skiing, as we know today, was invented in the 18th century out of military necessity. The Norwegian army conducted training that involved skiing down slopes as well as through forests and snowfields, all while firing weapons. We continue these trials today with the biathlon at the Olympics, where athletes are challenged with precision skiing and steady marksmanship. In 1809, a man by the name of Olaf Rye unintentionally invented ski jumping, soaring 31 feet in the air and miraculously surviving. By this time, skiing had transitioned from a pure functional task to a popular sport and recreational activity. The design of the ski progressed during this period, specifically with the invention of the cambered ski in Norway. With its bow shape, the cambered ski distributed the weight of the skier more evenly across the length of the ski. This prevented the ski from sinking into a hole. This is particularly helpful with deep powder conditions. Luckily, or very unluckily, we don't have to worry about that on the East Coast of the United States. For those who are unfamiliar, the East Coast is commonly referred to as the Ice Coast. For that reason, many serious skiers prefer to ski out west. Falling out west is like falling into a pillow. In 1868, the telemark ski was created. This was the first ski that included a side cut. A side cut refers to the differing width between the narrower part of the ski underfoot and the wider tail and tip. This arc creates the path that the ski will follow in a perfect turn, giving the skier the ability to hold an edge and carve, rather than just sliding sideways. In 1928, skis finally had steel edges. This allowed for new types of turning techniques that are still taught and used today. By the 1930s, it seemed like everyone was skiing, first in Europe and North America, and then later in New Zealand, Japan, Australia, Chile, and Argentina. The downhill sport became so popular that it was introduced to the Olympics in 1936. By the mid-90s, ski resorts began popping up. Over the years, these resorts have continued to grow and now house shops, restaurants, various accommodations, and activities like rock climbing. A ski holiday has become so much more than just skiing. For example, this weekend, after a long day of skiing, we went into the lodge and watched live bands perform as skiers drank, ate, and danced. Après-ski, as they call it, has become a very social time. The history of snowboarding is far shorter than that of skiing. In the mid-60s, a surfer named Sherman Poppin built a surfboard for the snow called the Snurfer. This product soon went into commercial production, and between 1965 and 1975, more than 1 million Snurfers were sold for $15 each. In 1970, an East Coast surfer named Dmitry Milovich began developing a snowboard based on the newest model of surfboard called the shortboard. His designs included steel edges, laminated fiberglass, gravel on the board for traction, and nylon strips. Although this was a pioneering advancement for snowboards, his company Winterstick eventually went bankrupt. In the late 70s, a man whose name will sound familiar, Jake Burton Carpenter, took a shot at improving the Snurfer by adding foot straps and fins for stability. His constant tinkering led to a flexible wood-planked board. In the 1980s, snowboarding was not allowed on public runs of most ski resorts, so the first snowboarders were either forced to hike up the mountain at night when popular areas were closed, or were regulated to the back country. As the 80s progressed, we saw the development and spread of snowboarding competitions like downhill racing and freestyling events that emulated skateboarding tricks. The Snurfer slowly declined as more modern designs of companies like Burton became more popular. Into the early 90s, technology improved and the first high-back bindings were produced, as well as other advancements such as rounded tails and a variation of boards for different conditions, such as racing, freestyling, and carving. Snowboarding became the fastest growing winter sport with more than 6 million people participating. This reality opened the doors of most ski resorts. Continuing into the 2000s, more than 80% of kids participating in alpine sport chose snowboarding. Speaking of resorts, there are a few iconic ski mountains pictured in this puzzle that have some quite interesting facts. Pictured in the Jackson Hole poster located at the bottom middle of this puzzle is their aerial tram, lovingly called Big Red. This new tram holds 100 people and in just 9 minutes glides skyward 4,139 vertical feet. Known as the Beast of the East, Killington, pictured in the center of the puzzle, averages 250 inches of natural snow each winter. Coupled with their snowmaking system that covers 71% of trails, Killington offers the longest ski season in the East. While the regular northeastern ski season usually spans from October to May, Killington has closed as late as June 22nd. Vail, located in the upper right-hand side of the puzzle, is the single largest ski resort in the American continent. Vail contains 3 distinct mountain areas, each with their own features including 3 terrain parks, 7 bowls, and 5,289 acres of free ride terrain. The ski resort boasts that with trails being 11 kilometers wide, finding fresh tracks is as easy as finding elbow room. To support this claim, on an average day, there are only 2 skiers per acre, and on a busy day, there are only 4. Pictured in the bottom right, Heavenly Ski Resort sits above Lake Tahoe. Lake Tahoe is the largest alpine lake in North America and the second deepest in the nation. Its vast expanse means the uncommonly clear and sparkling lake is rarely out of sight while on the mountain. In addition to the beautiful views, this region experiences 300 or more days of sunshine every year. Sun Valley, located at the bottom right of the puzzle, was the first ski resort to build a chairlift in 1936. This installation was adapted from a system used to haul bananas onto ships in Panama. This led to the creation of rope tows and gondolas in all resorts, thus eliminating the exhausting climb up the slopes. Lastly, Mammoth Mountain was built by a series of 25 volcanic eruptions that ended 57,000 years ago. These eruptions were fed by a magma body that is located beneath the mountain. This magma is reported to still produce hazardous volcanic gases that kill surrounding trees today. As far as approach, we started by building the border and isolated words. After the phrases were complete, we moved on to grouping pieces by color. This helped us to focus on one poster at a time and actually place pieces. Given our smaller work area, the piece count was a tad overwhelming. Our tip for this puzzle is to focus on the smaller sections. They will add up over time. With this, we advise that you give yourself plenty of space to spread the pieces out in order to identify pieces belonging to your desired poster. This puzzle took us about 6.5 hours to complete, although this timeline is skewed since having friends over distracted us for a large portion of this build. Overall, we give this puzzle an 8.23 out of 10 for puzzability. The following contributed to this overall rating. We gave a 7.1 out of 10 for setup. A more extensive sort and search strategy was employed. We gave an 8.9 out of 10 for design. We love the retro feel of this puzzle. We were shocked that it was created in 2021. It feels like something out of the 80s. We gave an 8.7 out of 10 for piece fit. The pieces fit together well. Any issues with locking the pieces together resulted from our soft tabletop. In closing thoughts, we believe that this is a challenging but approachable puzzle for most puzzlers. If you try this puzzle, we'd love to hear your thoughts. We'd also love to know what other puzzles you're working on and which ones we should try next. Happy puzzling!